The audio for this video was recorded with the help of an AI service offered by IBM. Please take help of the captions in case you miss out or face difficulties in understanding. Welcome back. In today's online lesson, we will discuss a poem by Kamala titled My Grandmother's House. In our last online lesson on the poem and introduction, I have already provided you some key details regarding Kamala. If you haven't watched the video already, then do watch it. Skipping the primary introduction part, let's dive directly into the poem. So, the poem, My Grandmother's House, first appeared in Kamala's first collection of poems titled Summertime in Calcutta, published in the year 1965. In it, Kamala recalls her ancestral home and her dead grandmother. The imageries employed in the poem are very personal too, which is often the case with most of Da's poems. I have already talked about it in our last video on Kamala. This poem takes the form of a confession, comparing her present state with that of being unconditionally loved by her grandmother. The poem can be said to be a reminiscence of the poetess's grandmother and their ancestral home in Punayurkulam in Kerala. Her memory of love she received from her grandmother is associated with the image of her ancestral home. Let's quickly go through the poem. I will try to explain the poem as simply as possible. So, the poem begins with the speaker remembering a house not far from where she is right now, where she received love, which throws light on the fact that now she is bereft of love, and that's why she longs for that which is lost. Then she mentions the woman who died. We already know that the woman is none other than the grandmother. With the death of her grandmother, the house withdrew into silence. Even the house seems to share her grief, which is expressed in the phrase, the house withdrew. The house soon became desolate, and snakes started crawling among books. The speaker maintains that her blood has now become cold like the moon, because there is no one to love her the way she was loved by her grandmother. She longs to go back to her grandmother's house so that she can once again peer, meaning, look, through blind eyes of windows, or to just listen to the frozen air. She has employed suggestive visual imagery of blind eyes of the windows and the frozen air to convey the idea of death and desperation. If not that, she wishes to collect an armful of familiar darkness so that now she can keep it behind her bedroom door like a brooding dog. However, after this part, we are made aware of the fact that there is another person listening to the speaker, just like in a dramatic monologue. A listener who doesn't participate. The speaker asks the listener, "You cannot believe, darling, can you, that I lived in such a house and was proud and loved?" But all she can do now is remember the old house and all the good days she spent in it, while at the same time beg for love at strangers' doors, meaning from people who do not love her. The past and the present are contrasted. The present time is in no way worth living, and the past is inspiring, and the memories are worth retaining. The poem is fairly easy to understand. From an exam point of view, you should definitely look into the grandmother and granddaughter relationship in the poem. This is a common tendency which one witnesses in any family for that matter. Generally, grandchildren get more attached to their grandparents for their selfless and unconditional love. It is primarily because of the fact they are pampered and loved despite all the odds they commit. You should also look into the element of nostalgia in the poem. The speaker understands that she cannot reclaim the past, but she wants to go back to her grandmother's house, once again look through its windows and bring back a handful of darkness, sad and painful memories, which she would have made her constant companion, to keep as a reminder of her past happiness. Now when she is married and thinks of going to her grandmother's house and wishes to peep through the blind eyes of windows and listen the frozen air, she cannot. The image of the window is a link between the past and the present. It signifies the desire of the poet for a nostalgic peep into her past. That's all for today's class. I have done a detailed video on Kamala, which is up on the screen right now. Do watch it, and, as always, do share the video with your friends, and if you have any doubts or suggestions, do drop them in the comment section. Thank you.